King Conan, Conan the Barbarian, Super 7. I have a love-hate relationship with Super 7. They produce things that make me go, oh, that would be cool, and it's unique, and there's nobody else doing that. And then I see those items, and I have troubles. I see a lot of their Ninja Turtle stuff. And I go, that would be really cool, especially since a lot of it, especially in the Ultimates, is redesigns of the things that I specifically want. And I got a couple of them. I got all 4 turtles, and I got the Shredder, and that was awesome. But, a big old but, when I bought them, it cost me $60 a turtle, and $60 for Shredder. That's a lot. Like, I mean, not for nothing, but that's 60 5 times plus tax for 5 figures. I mean, that's a lot. And sometimes Super 7 will make these decisions that just don't sit right with me. Like, I thought to myself, man, I'm getting all this Motu stuff. It would be cool, even if I don't have a lot of business in there, because I've yet to see a single episode ever in my entire life. But I have read one comic book. It would be cool to get at least Lino and a couple of his people on the shelf, right? Of course. Thundercats has a huge lineage. I'm into this kind of stuff. I'm pretty sure that by the time I do actually sit down and watch it, I will enjoy it thoroughly. And I really enjoyed the comic book, the Motu Thundercats crossover comic. I enjoyed it extensively, and I liked it a lot. And I kind of got to know Lino and these characters, and I was like, if this is what it's like, I would be interested. $60 minimum per figure. Plus a couple of the figures, which are like smaller figures, still ranging in the 60, making it so it's not about the plastic, it's just about an across-the-board price sometimes. Then there's the idea that Super 7 doesn't tend to put a lot into the movement for figures. We could argue it's modern articulation. But I have those turtles, and while I love them, they are exactly what I wanted. If you're seeing this in the chapter form videos, in the annotations, that Holy Grail Turtles is going to be there. You will be able to check it out. If not, keep it in mind if you're interested in my thoughts on it. I did a video called Holy Grail's Turtles, and those turtles, those 4 turtles that I bought, that is what I've always wanted, but I'll more than blatantly admit that the body designs for most human figures bug me in Super 7. And sometimes they look cartoonish, like with the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers stuff that they released. I said, oh great, Mighty Morphin, that's pretty cool. I haven't upgraded my Mighty Morphin in years. I'm happy with the figures that I've got, so that's not really that big of a deal to me. But it did make me think. And I said, hey, maybe that's my chance. They come with a bunch of stuff. That's pretty cool. And I started looking, and I'm like, hey, they do come with a lot of stuff. Like a lot of stuff that really hits the series. Then I got to looking at them, and I was like, but they look like cartoons. And I passed on all of them. And Super 7 has this habit of doing these things to me. Either they price me out with the methods that they use, and I don't feel like they're worth the money that they cost. At the dive-in rate. So don't misunderstand me. I have spent $70 on a figure before and felt like that's okay. Case in point. I mean, we know I bought Tigra twice. Both those times were over $70. And it didn't bug me. It's Tigra. It's Fire and Ice. It's part of my childhood. It's part of a lineage that I enjoy very much. It's Frank Frazetta. Like, I'm there for it. It's Bakshi. Come on. Like, I'm 100% on board. And you give me a quality figure, and I will buy it. But it's a small ask to put some Frazetta icons on the shelf, as opposed to Super 7 Ultimates, where there seems to be something new every other week. And at 60, 60, 60, 60, 60, 60, 60, it's too much of a long dive. Which now brings us full circle to me staying out of the Conan line when they started doing it. I said, before you know it, I've got Conan again, I've got Conan again, and then of course I would have Thulsa Doom, and I would have Valeria, and I would have Subotai, and like these are all cool ideas, but how much can I do before it becomes too expensive? And then I got looking at the Conan in war paint, and I noticed his body, and I was like, oh, it feels a lot like Motu Classics or DC Classics. It feels like an old superhero body design that I don't like. So I stayed away. And I stayed away for a very long time. Until recently, I had to rebuy Tigra. And when I was doing it, I happened to have extra money. So I debated, and it won. I knew that I'd found this Conan throne, the King throne. And I said, if I'm getting the throne, I need the King. What's that going to take? I looked them both up. They were both fine for what it was worth if it was going to be a single drop. I invested. This will be my first dive into anything Conan from Super 7. So there's a lot riding on this guy. A lot. And I already see a problem. But if I'm lucky and I open this and I get over the problem very quickly, maybe I could talk myself into Subotai. Because it would be cool to have Subotai, right? Maybe I could talk myself into Thulsa Doom. Maybe I can get Valeria. I could put the movie stuff on the shelf. It's possible. But it's also very possible that I could open this guy. And that's as far as I go. Because Super 7 always feels like a very large drop. And for what I get out of it, it often doesn't feel like it's worth that amount of money. Even if you would argue that it very blatantly is. Sometimes it's about the way it feels. And sometimes that trumps what a thing costs. Let's see. Let's open him up. Okay. Here he is. Conan. And for what it's worth, so far, feels good. Okay, that's not terrible. Right now he's got the tiniest punching hands. Look at his little hands. Look at him, look at this, so small. It does feel like his hands are smaller than they should be. Like, unless they just made him so egregiously big that his hands feel like Look at his tiny hands. Look at them. Look how tiny they are. I don't know if it's coming off on camera the way that it is in person, but his hands are tiny. Like, it bugs me. Here's part of why. Look. That's his tiny little fist. See it? It's tiny. It's an adorable little fist. It'll punch you right in your little teeth. But then if we take that fist off and we open up his big old giant man hand, like, now his hand feels too big if you compare it to his tiny fist. Like, are you seeing the level of difference here? Like, am I the only one that feels like that seems wrong? Like, his fists, his tiny fists? I don't know why that feels so off to me, but it really, really does. That doesn't feel right. Luckily, he does have these more open hands so that he can grip things. But even then, it almost seems like he's got a tiny little gripping hand. Like, it's a tiny little hand. He's got his sword right here. And he's got like a little thing here, so I know that this can go... I know that I can drop it on the floor. I know that it goes there. I just got to get it on there somehow. It's made of like a rubber material. It'll just pop right over there eventually. Got it. That's cool. I mean, it looks detailed. He's got a royal sword here, Aquilonian emblem and everything, which is kind of cool. Put that there. It fits. It clips in. It's nice. He can reach down and grab it if he wanted. Does having a sword in hand make that hand seem less teeny? I don't know. It also doesn't want to... It's not very malleable, I'll tell you that. Almost feels like this is the kind of hand that where you got to heat it up. Ugh. Yeah, I'm not going to play around with it too much. I don't want to cause any kind of harm to the actual thing in general. I will heat it up later and test how the swords, but I'll get an idea at least. Now this is the sword we know. This is the sword that he found in the movie. And minor problem here. That's just gray plastic. Like that's it. It's kind of weak. It's okay, but you put so much detail into this sword with the sheath and unsheath, and that's very, very silver. And then you got all this gold and all this attention to detail and sculpting and the black here and the paint apps everywhere. And then like this, you just kind of put like a bronze there. And there's kind of a dark wash on the sword. Kind of. Barely noticeable. Like this is the movie Blade. This is what I feel should have gotten the treatment if you were going to do at your price point. You telling me you couldn't have taken this and like, is this not with another Conan that it has a better paint job and we could... This one just surprises me because this is the sword that I feel should have gotten the detail. It's not a deal breaker. It looks fine. It's sculpted very well. But it does bother me. That being said, we have two heads here. We have this head that he comes with normal, which is a fine likeness to Arnold in the makeup, in the design for the king, looking a little older, looking regal and everything. It works for me. It does actually work for me. I don't hate it. It's got a good look to it. Then they give him this other head. And I feel like he's supposed to be looking up like where his head is down and his eyes are up. But if you don't pose him exactly like that, then you got Royal King Conan rolling his eyes. Again with these people. Like, see it? See it? Even with the camera not being great, I'm pretty sure you could see where they put the blues in the eyes here. Let me see if I can get it to focus on it real quick. Come on. Come on, hide my face. See that face. See it? See it? Now you see it? Why did they do that? Like, I think I get it. I think it's supposed to be for when he's sitting in the throne, because his hair is like, there's a lot here. And it's like his hair is pushed way back, so maybe he's supposed to be kind of looking up and looking, but like, I don't know, to be honest. And it does look a little goofy. But maybe I can make use of that too. Like, maybe I could do some skits where somebody tells a really bad dad joke and Conan can be like, something like that. I don't know. I'll probably make use of it, but it is bizarre that they chose that for the second head. Like, it's weird. Otherwise, there's an awful lot of detail here. Like, there's a lot of paint apps. There's a lot of gold in good places and everything. He does look good. He's got this cloth actual material right here. He's got this little, I think these are supposed to be, are these wolves? I think these are wolf pelts that are laid over the top of him. There, when you take that off, you get the actual armor piece right here. You get the gold emblem, which is nice. He's still wearing that old necklace, which is actually a really cool effect, by the way. And he's got decent turn for what it's worth. He's got the belt here. But he's got that old, like I said, that classics body with like that hard cut right here and the super wide chest. Like, let's pull the head off. Okay, head off. Take this whole piece off. Take his royal coat thing off. Does this body look awkward? Real question here. We gotta know. Does that... Well... Okay, hold on. I don't like this. See, this is one of those things. I talk about this a lot. When Classics was coming out, like when DC Classics was a thing and when Motu Classics was a thing, they were using this kind of body design. And I've always disliked this hard, middle cut body design with like the turns. I've never liked these bodies. He has 90-degree leg. Might not be too big of a deal. Might be something you can get over, in all honesty, because all I need for him to do is be able to sit on the throne, which I imagine he can do in the look that he's got here. His armor doesn't seem like it's in the way at all. His legs go up enough. I think that's a good possibility, because I bought him for the throne. If we're being perfectly honest, that's what I bought him for, so that's what I want him to work for. Now, if you put this head on, it looks like this head, like I was saying, it has hair that kind of fall. You see how it goes out? So I imagine he'll be able to look up, so you'll be able to get something where he's kind of leaning forward, where he's going to have his hand, he's going to be holding his sword or whatever, and he's going to be looking up. And I think the idea was to have him looking up, and that was the idea. I got a little bit of chipping on my shoulder, but nothing too bad. You know what it reminds me of? Now that I'm thinking about it, it feels like an old wrestling body. Like a wrestling figure. That's what the body feels like. Now, I realize Arnold was a big dude. So maybe this body complements him and isn't that big of a deal for him as it would be for some other figures. That is very, very feasible. Maybe it's not a big deal on him as opposed to what it could have been on some other figures, because other figures would look goofy with a body that big, but Arnold is actually, in reality, a very large man, and so it kind of works out. Let's not do the rolling eyes one. Let's do the regular head here. Well, one thing. How are you going to look? That's it. There he is, on the throne. Is he passable? Does he work? Well, I mean, for what he costs, what the throne and everything costs, his movement, I'm going to admit something. He is growing on me as I work with him. Luckily, this Conan has enough stuff going on in terms of all his armor and everything that it kind of covers up the body that I don't care for. Like, I don't like these body designs. I've never liked these body designs. It's a big reason that I haven't bought a lot of figures from the era that used these body caps. And one of the reasons I'm very worried that Mattel is coming back in to do DC, and I'm like, please use a more modern body sculpt. Please do not do this. But with the King, I think it's passable. I think there's enough extra stuff here, and I think he looks good enough. They did enough paint apps and everything on him to make him feel like he doesn't feel cheap. And I'm wondering, very much so, in reality, I'm wondering if the other Conan figures would pass the same standards. Would it pass the same test? Would I get the other Conan figures and say to myself, hey, because they have all this armor and all this stuff, and they look a certain way, they're passable and they work. Now they still got to get me past a $60 threshold to get me to buy in, and that's a big buy. Guys, we've talked about it already. I have a comfort zone for where I like to buy figures. And $60 over and over and over again, now more than that, in all honesty, is a hard sell. Realistically, if I'm talking about trying to jump in, I may be talking nearly $70 a figure. And I'm talking about, like, I need a standard Conan. I need the Battle Paint Conan. I need Thulsa Doom. I need Subotai. I need Valeria. There is not a common Valeria that I'm aware of yet. There's only the Valkyrie Valeria. Ouch! 5 figures at $70 a piece? If I buy into this line, it will be sparingly. Very, very sparingly. But it's not impossible. I think that he's a good enough figure that you might just get me to invest one figure at a time every other couple months. And if I'm lucky and they hold out in the market long enough, maybe I could get the movie figures on the shelf.
I have spoken. Take what you will from it.